Hey everyone, it is Lori here. Welcome back to the channel. I am so grateful that you're here, that you clicked on today's video. Welcome. I am Lori and I am a first-time homeschooling mom going into my second year of homeschooling, and I'm going to be doing classical conversations again. I did it my first year last year and doing it again this year. I've already done a video going over my other parts of the curriculum I plan on doing with my daughters: math, reading, spelling, and handwriting. So make sure you check out that video as well after you watch this one, or you can stop this one and go watch that one and then come back to this one. Of going over what I mean by what I'm going to be doing for our classical conversations and all the stuff that I've done to prepare for that. So that's what I'm going to be sharing in today's video. This is, like I mentioned, I've done the video last year about going over classical conversations. You can get this handbook. It is the 5th edition that we're in. And so this has all 3 cycles, and it's how Classical Conversations program works. It's based off 3 different cycles. Last year we did cycle 2. This year we're doing cycle 3, and a lot of it is a U.S. history. So you get this book, and this is an overview glance of what you're going to be doing from each different subject for all 24 weeks. So you have your math, your Latin, your science, your English, your timeline, your history, your geography, and the projects and fine art stuff, which you typically do there at your community day. All this other stuff you also do at your community day, but it's also the stuff that you kind of memorize and work on with your students during the week. And so then each week gets broken down on my kids, my students and my kids each week. And this is so this is week 17, this is week 18. Again, it breaks it down: math, Latin, science, English, timeline, history, geography, and all that stuff. So this is, again, recommended. I recommend that. This is something that I created, got together, and organized at the end of last year, so I'm all ready for the next year. So I found this little box, index card holder box, and inside it is all 24 weeks. I got all this stuff off Amazon. Tabs for the 24 weeks of the timeline cards, and I think there's 4 sets of the timeline cards you have to buy, so it can get kind of expensive. So I slowly bought them over time, but it's all 24 weeks timeline cards. So then I just organized it. So this is week 1. I just flip it up, and it's all the cards that they're going to be memorizing for the timeline. One benefit for CC, the timeline is the same through each cycle, so you only have to buy this stuff technically once, and you can use it every year you do site. You don't have to get these. They are not it's not mandatory to get these if your budget doesn't allow it. I just I think my kids like to see the pictures, and a fun game that I saw a mom do that I'm going to start. I did a little bit last year. I'll plan to do more of it this year, but maybe by Friday. So introduce the timeline on Monday, then by Friday I'm going to mix them all up, and they have to work together to put it back in the right order. So I think that's another way to you can use these cards. They offer an app per cycle, and again, it has all the memory work for you through song base, and that's another thing I recommend doing. So you can play it in your car. I have it on my phone and on the iPad, so those are some things to do on the side. The other thing that, if you follow along my story last year, you saw a lot of my whiteboard on wheels, and then I have this black divider. Now I have one that I have for cycle 2. This is all ready for cycle 3. Michelle helps me, my nice sister, helps me prep all this already. I broke it off into the 24 weeks, and inside
Tilt it down a little bit.
24 weeks, and then expand. Sorry, silly me. But it expands, and so I love that you could do 24 weeks in here, so all of it's together. So what I have, so I'm just going to pull out week 1 to show you, because every other week it's pretty much the same thing inside of it. I got these big section boards of all those main things that they're going to be learning from 5 Girls Schoolhouse, and so on the CC site you can print off. They also have things called fridge facts, which I'll show you, which I have to still go and laminate them, but they have fridge facts. Then they also call these, I forget what they call them, tri-fold board sheets inside the online program if you're a part of the membership. So this is the fridge facts. I have to just go and laminate each one. So each week has their own fridge facts. This is a quick, again, overview if you are on the go and you just want to take this, or sometimes I put this in front of my kids so they can, especially now that they're able to read a little bit more now. So again, it's another great quick visual of everything that they're going to be learning that week. So I have that. That's the fridge facts. So I highly recommend those. These are the tri-fold boards. So they have one for English. This is Latin. So I would hang it up on my whiteboard. So I have Latin. These are just extra things I got. I'll show you those in a second. Then this is English. Then there's one I have for the geography. Then I have one for math. This is, I believe, the science. And then they have one for history. So this is another way that I would do introducing our memory work, which I did a video on that, how I do the memory work, and I'll probably maybe do an updated one too when I start this year. So I have these all out on the big whiteboard, and I always have it displayed out, and I pull it out whenever we're doing our CC stuff, and then I switch it out each week, and it's all ready to go. I don't have to think or go and print. Last year I was kind of printing, since it was all new to me, 2 or 3 weeks out in advance. I really like going into this new school year all ready to go. And on top of inside the online program membership of Classical Conversations, they offer a lot of great resources from other moms, and also something called the Sandbox, which you can print off extra things to further enhance whatever your kid is learning. So I found these for the Latin to help the kids with the Latin. This is again for the science. They can write out in cursive what each of the science tissues that we're learning, so just other visual things to help them learn. This is also, I realized too, I can use some of this as their handwriting practice as well. That's why I'm not trying to do as much outside handwriting practice like I did last year. And then Michelle helped me again organize all this other just additional resources that I found off the CC forum to help me with in the Sandbox program, to help me just other things that I can do to, since again my kids are older now, they're in 2nd and 3rd grade, they can write more, they can read more. So I was going to try this year, because last year I didn't do a lot of these extra additional resources for CC. I mostly just stuck to the visual stuff, not much of this. I did a few things, but I was like, you know what, they're a little bit older. I'm going to challenge them, and I'll just see how it goes. Maybe by the second half I'm not doing as many, but we'll see. Each week's different sometimes. So this week I'm kind of taking the initiative, and I got already some additional resources on certain things, knowing that I think my kids would like it. They really like to draw. I came across this book, and it's Draw the USA, and she has other ones of drawing the world and stuff, so I'm excited to use those as you're moving forward, because forget what level in CC, but 7th grade or 8th grade, you draw the whole world by memory. And so all these little weeks that you're having your kid, it will benefit them when they get older. So this, she teaches you again how to start, like this is New Jersey, and so she teaches you that, how to draw it. I think by the end you add on to everything. You're adding on to that state. So you've already kind of drawn all this, and now you're adding on Missouri. So it's, at least I think, if I'm understanding the book right. So I'm going to kind of see how my kids do that, adding to the geography, which I found, again, these additional resources of geography off the Classical site. So again, you don't have to buy some of these extra resources. There's plenty of the resources online that you can just find right there and print off. But the same idea, it's going to be teaching them each week. New Hampshire, you're going to learn the capital, Concord. So I have that already printed off too, that Michelle helped me organize per kid. So that's all like a lot of geography, drawing stuff on top of it. The other thing I got to kind of help with learning about, since I told you it's very American focused, the Tuttle Twins have this American history. So this is going to be kind of like a read aloud that I'm going to do. I think it's broken up per chapters or sections table. So it's kind of broken down. So I will see if I can get through like all of one during the first week, second week. So obviously it's only 11 sections. So it's not going to be a full program, but I don't know, I might have to spread it out depending on how other stuff is going. I'm excited for this one. Just try it out. I've heard such great things about Tuttle Twins products. I honestly have never used any, so I'm excited to see how I incorporate this in. Again, I might pick one day of the week to read from it each week and kind of chug along through it as the year goes. The other thing I got is I always see books like this on Amazon, and they always catch my eye. They're just so beautiful. So I got the 50 state one, and so as we're learning about each place each week, I'll just open up, hey, this week we're going to be learning and drawing about Alabama. Well, let's learn. So again, I might do this one day a week with them. Let's learn about Alabama. Okay, we're learning about Alaska. Kind of go through some of this, as Michelle said, like if there's something that interests them as we're, oh, I want to learn more about that, then I will just go and research and find out more resources on whatever they want to learn about more. So I'm excited to kind of incorporate that additional resource in. The other additional resource, the Who Was series. There's some people online that go ahead and organize, it's downpouring outside, people you can read about that go along with the Who What series for cycle 3, and they have it for cycle 2 and cycle 1. So I printed the main list off. I have not bought all of them because I bought a few just to start off. I've never used these books before, but I got one on who was George Washington, who was Alexander Hamilton, who was Ben Franklin, what was the Lewis and Clark expedition, and who was Christopher Columbus. And again, if we're learning about somebody in the history part, and I don't have this extra book on that person, and the kids are show, either we're going by if I can see if they have it, or I might just find, again, usually I just find a YouTube video or something that goes over it. So
I know a resource that I like using even for some Bible stuff is a guy, I forget his name, it's Drive Through History.
Drive Through History, yeah, he's good. I do a lot. So I'm just kind of going to play it by ear. These are a lot longer and more in depth than honestly what I was expecting. I thought it was going to be a little bit more like quick highlights of who George Washington was. This is, to me,
a little bit of a story.
So I'm actually going to read, like, this will be all what I focus on week 1, because week 1, we are learning, tell me about Columbus. So this will be my read aloud all through week 1, and hopefully I can get it done, and then, you know, whatever one's next will be my next. So that's kind of how I plan it. I don't know if I'll see how these go, if I want to keep doing it as the school year goes on, if they're really liking them, if we're getting anything out of them. If not, I'll just stop that resource and just stick to doing other things. Doing, again, the Animals in Time. This is their volume 3 for their American history. So I have the parent one, which is the one that's filled with the stories that you read to your kids as they're working on their own individual workbooks. And so each kid has an Animals in Time activity sheet. And so again, before you read the story, they have different activities, things for them to color in. And I kind of make it a game when I'm reading the main story as they're working on this. If they hear something from the story that is related to any of the week memory work, they raise their hand and I give them like a little treat afterwards or something for being engaged and listening and being involved in it. Actually, I am realizing I am missing one resource because it's been pre-ordered. Is the Bible Foundation that I got from Driven by Grace. She created last year for the Bible part that goes along with Classical Conversations Bible, and I really enjoyed it. We did her volume 2, which ties to cycle 2. She created a new one. It hasn't been sent out yet by the time I'm doing this video, but it should be here by the time school starts. So I'll have to just give a side update when I receive that. So I am excited for that. My morning is really just going to be heavily just focused on her program. And when we don't have classical conversations, like on our breaks, I'll just go back to reading the Bible, how we've been doing with their Bible journals and stuff. So that's kind of, so this is the other stuff that I'll be doing on top of what I showed in my other video, their math, their reading, and their spelling. I'm not really sure how the flow is all going to go. So like I said, once I get a week or 2 in or a few weeks in, I'll do an updated video of how the flow is going and what's working, what's not working type of video. If you have any questions, make sure you head over to Instagram and direct message me there. I'll check those messages over there. So I think that's it. I guess I try not to do too many additional resources, but just a few because they looked cool to me and exciting even for me to kind of relearn and get better at. So I also kind of did it for that aspect too. There's another thing by 5 Girls Schoolhouse. She does have visual science where you print off the science and sheets. I did it last year. I don't have that notebook last year, but you print them off. You Velcro certain things, so it's like another visual thing for your kid to learn the science. I'm pretty sure it's just the science part of Classical Conversations. I have not decided yet if I'm going to buy that and use that or not. We kind of use the Cycle 2 one a little bit, like maybe once a week. Maybe that's enough, I don't know, but my kids are getting older, so I'm just trying to figure out what is the best way they're going to learn. I'm a very, very visual learner. I know they are very visual learners too, so I might get it, so that might be something else. But besides that, that's it. I'll make sure to give all the links below and over on our blog. So make sure you check that out if you have any more additional questions. I love you guys. I hope this video has been a blessing of serving in you in your homeschooling life, or just if you're curious what CC is like or what I plan to do for CC, even if you're not doing it, if you're just curious. That's kind of the stuff my kids will be learning this year. All right, I will be back with more videos. Bye.